Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? It's your man, Big B, Brien Hanley, along with Tim Fitzgerald. Welcome back to the Big 12 Insiders. Appreciate everybody being in here. Today is the day, ladies and gentlemen. The power rankings are out. There was some movement. There absolutely was some movement. Now, maybe not a ton at the top or bottom, but I think enough. I mean, this conference, as we know, it's going to be chaotic, and things are going to change each and every week. So I'm real excited to see what you guys think about the power rankings this week and how we match up with the publishers for 24/7 for each school. They put out their power rankings, and we match them up each week. So should be a good show. Appreciate everybody being in here. Before we get started, again, remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in the comments section. Tell us what you do and don't like, and always hit the notification bell so you know exactly when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. Fitz, how are you doing today, my man?
I am well. It's a busy day here in the studio, and I got some speaking engagements, a lot on my plate, but I love this show.
Absolutely. We appreciate you being in here. Let's get into it, people. First things first, at number 16, Oklahoma State. Now, look, Oklahoma State fought, Fitz. They fought last Saturday. Look, they fired the coach. What I really believe that it was, Oklahoma State's not talented. That's the thing. They just don't have enough talented football players on their team. But they fought. I think it's one of those scenarios to where, hey, we're making a last stand for our coach to let him know that we care. But that was it. I don't think it's going to go good the rest of the season. We'll see. Who knows? But having said all of that, this is where we are. I got them in 16.
Yeah, I feel for Oklahoma State fans. These are the Temu Cowboys. I mean, they went out and got them on a discount in the portal, and oh boy, it's not working. I love it though. We're seeing it now at Oklahoma State and Arkansas when the interim coach starts firing his fellow coaches. I love it.
Wow,
there's something so base about that. Like, just, you know what? You suck. I had a coach alongside you. You suck. You're out. I'm the interim coach. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder sometimes too, Fitz, like if the interim coach was there, he gets hired. He's like, yeah, I saw this all along. Why was he the D coordinator or the offense? Like, why were they even in this position? I don't know, but it is what it is. At number 15, West Virginia. Look, West Virginia, great win against Pitt, but that was 2 weeks ago. They've gotten their head handed to them the last 2 weeks. We kind of thought they would. Tough games. Again, another team that just not as talented as other teams within the Big 12. And Utah, look, I challenged Utah, and Utah basically stood up and said, no, number one, Tech's good, and two, yeah, we're on our way back. That was just a game that we just played a team that was better than us on that day. But West Virginia is not on our level, and they proved it. This is where West Virginia at 15.
This is not almost heaven, in case you're wondering. This is closer to football, college football hell, at least for West Virginia. I think it's temporary. Got to hit the reset button, and sometimes that reset means with the new coach, you're going to need new players. Not all, but many, and I think they'll get busy with that. I'm a big Rich Rod fan, so I think he'll get things moving, but there ain't many things going right now in Morgantown.
Not at all. At number 14, I got Colorado. I am over this Colorado thing. I tried to be diplomatic about it, and I guess I'll still being diplomatic about it. They're just not very good.
No.
You know, that's being diplomatic. They can't stop the run. They let teams do whatever they want to on offense against them, and BYU did that. They fought. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Colorado doesn't have any heart. I just don't think they're that good.
Oh.
And that's the difference. They're not a physical football team, and you're not going to win many games when you're not a physical football team. It's just that simple. And until they can prove, and their schedule gets even more difficult coming up. Like, I'm not sure Colorado's going to make a bowl game. Matter of fact, I'm pretty positive that they aren't going to make one at this point. They can surprise me, but this is where they are this week, Fitz. They got to get this turned around. It's just not a physical football team. They're at 14.
Yeah, they look good for half,
Mm-hmm.
and then they didn't look good. Yeah, And that's, typical of a team that is under talented. They can fake it for a little while, kind of like me, trying to look smart. I can fake it, and then everyone goes, yeah, ain't smart. That's Colorado just isn't a very good team, and they got a lot of L's in the future. I love Coach Prime. I hope he figures out how to make this work, because this ain't working right now.
No, not right now. At 13, I got UCF. Look, a lot of UCF fans got mad and was, well, how can you have us this low and we're an undefeated team? Well, you went to Kansas State and you showed us why. You're not that good of a football team right now. Got heart. You fight. I can't tell you how impressed I am with Tavon. I think Tavon Jackson, your quarterback, coming back with an AC sprain. And they basically just said, look, you can sit out, but if you play, you can't hurt it any worse. And the amount of pain that he had to be in to continue playing in that football game, I give him an enormous amount of credit. Having said that, Kansas State is not a very good team, and they took it to you. They took it to you, but you did fight in the football game. This was not a blowout, and it easily could have been, and you continued to fight. When the game was getting out of hand, you didn't let it get out of hand, and for that, you can be commended, but I got you at 13 this week.
They really struggled offensively for more than a half, and then they started making some plays, and it was explosive plays that kept them in it, and it was interceptions that knocked them out of it. So UCF is better than I expected, and I think we're seeing a little separation here, and it might be below UCF, it might be above UCF. I don't know if that bottom tier has 3 or 4 schools in it, but I suspect right now it might be 3. We'll see what the Knights do as the season progresses, but we're now beginning to see that the best teams rise and the bad teams sink.
Absolutely. At number 12, I've got Kansas State. We just talked about them. Look, they showed a pulse, Fitz. Like, they acted like they wanted to play football. They acted like they cared, and it showed. Now, getting Dylan Edwards back seemed to change that entire offense. They made changes on the offensive line. Dylan Edwards was used properly for one time this season. Or not Dylan Edwards, Avery Johnson, was used properly this season. It worked. They got some stuff to clean up on defense, but a pulse. And that's what a lot of people had said about Kansas State. A lot of people said K-State's broken. They can't figure it out. Yada, yada, yada. They found a pulse, and maybe that can start carrying through the rest of the season. But I'm still not convinced, because you beat a bad football team.
Yeah.
Beat a good football team, we'll have a different conversation. And for now, I have you at 12.
I think it's a sign of how bad the season's been for Kansas State that their fans are so excited about winning by 14 points over UCF on your own home field. I mean, that's, if most seasons, if it was an opponent with a first-year coach that coming off a bad season, you would expect 4 touchdowns, not 2. But this team looked like they cared for most of the game, which has been the biggest thing. Yeah, they've been missing some key pieces, and they were in this game too on offense, but it looked like they're going through the motions, and this time they didn't do that. They better keep that up and elevate a little bit, because it's going to get pretty brutal for Kansas State in terms of the schedule.
Yes, it does. It's very difficult here really quickly. At number 11, I have got KU. Look, KU fans, how do you have us ranked so low? It's so funny where you rank KU. Well, what's really funny is your defense.
Yeah.
The 2 teams that you have played that actually has a pulse has put up 600 yards against you. That didn't happen once. It happened twice. So what exactly am I supposed to think about that when your defense can't stop anybody? Anybody with a pulse, they go up and down the field on you. Now, granted, I know Jalen Daniels played an outstanding game against Cincinnati, but I said it yesterday and I'll say it again. Just because you're the reason that you are in the game, you've played an outstanding game, doesn't give you the excuse of fumbling the football at the 1-inch line. It doesn't give you that excuse, and that's exactly what happened. It cost KU points. I'm not saying that necessarily cost them the game, but it absolutely cost them points. Yeah. And you can't do that. Look, Kansas, I think, can be good. But you got to get out of your own way, and you got to learn to stop somebody. So for now, you're 11. Prove me wrong.
I love watching Jalen Daniels play until he starts fumbling the ball. Why can't he fix this? Why is he so reckless with the football? I don't get it. You would think when you get hit upside the head a number of times, you'd do something to stop getting hit upside the head. But here we are, passes for more than 400 yards, has an epic performance, and yet we still remember the mistakes. And that defense, that they made Cincinnati look like Texas Tech with Patrick Mahomes. How? So they got to shore that up big time.
Yeah, they got to fix it. They got to, because again, I really think they can be a good team, but you're not a good team giving up 600 yards a week. That's just not going to cut it. Not going to cut it. So we got the first 6 there.
Boop. There we go.
So there we go. Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Colorado. The publisher switched it up. They not a believer in UC, or a little bit more believer, but we're right at Kansas State. And they got Arizona at 11 versus Kansas. Yeah, I just look. We'll get to Arizona here in a minute, probably here in a quick minute. But that's where I see it as of right now. I think it's fair. I think that's fair. So
yep.
Moving on, number 10. Arizona. Imagine that. Look, Arizona fans getting after me, telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, we deserve respect. And I'm like, who have you beaten? Well, you only said Kansas State. No, I've been telling you Kansas State wasn't very good since game 2. And then you beat them. It didn't mean anything. Then you went and played somebody that was good, and look what happened. Look, it's not an indictment. It's not an indictment. But what I will say this, because I went back and forth on whether to put Arizona 11 or Kansas at 10, and the difference is the defense. Arizona shows that they have a semblance of a defense. Look, they kept Iowa State to 112 yards rushing, but it was like 3.4 yards a carry. No, I think it was 2.7, something crazy. And I'm like, good for you. At least you showed that you have a defense, that you care a little bit. Kansas didn't do that. That's why I have them there. But, you know, all the people, they were looking for some respect. And you did earn some respect, because this is not the same Arizona team as last year, Fitz. It's not. This is a different team with a different mindset. But there are levels to this. And at this time, you're not at the same level as the upper echelon at this conference. You are at number 10.
Agreed. I mean, this is an improved Arizona team. There's no doubt. Yeah. But how much is the question? And we'll see if they can clean it up. And look, going to Iowa State is not easy. That's a good team on their home field. It's one of the bigger stadiums in this conference. Those fans get after it. So I thought Arizona actually looked a little bit better than I thought they would. So there's progress being made, but it's not like they flipped the switch and became a title contender again. They still got some work to do.
Correct. Absolutely correct. At number 9, look, I dropped Houston here. Look, Houston, first of all, they got away with one. Yeah. That's number 1. They got away with one, and they should be embarrassed, because Oregon State stinks. They stink. And I don't want to hear about somebody said, well, it's the late time and, you know, in the game. I'm like, do you think the players were sleepy? That wasn't the case. And if you're saying that they were tired, these are 18 to 24-year-old guys, man. I mean, I get it that it's a late start. Well, it's past their bedtime. What 18-year-old to 24-year-old in college is going to bed at 9 or 10 o'clock? Stop the madness, man. Come on. You just played a bad football game. It's okay to just say that. They should be embarrassed. But you know what? They got an opportunity to right the ship. But if you play like this coming up week, you're going to get embarrassed again even more. It's going to get ugly. I'm just telling you that right now. For now, I'm going to put you at 9, but don't come out here and get blown out this weekend, because you're falling even further. And be quite frank, I'm a little stern, a little mad at Houston right now, Fitz. I'm a little mad. That was embarrassing.
So like a parrot. Houston, you're losing Big B. I didn't think that was possible, but when you go to the wire and barely beat an 0-4 football team, now 0-5, you got to do better than that. And it's not the late start. Maybe it's because I never like it when you play a late game on the road because you're sitting around in a hotel room all day and not doing anything. I get that. I'll accept that, but not again. Not at Oregon State. Come on. Their mascot's the Beavers. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you got to be better than that. And it was sloppy. And the only reason you got back and were able to win the game is because Oregon State stinks. I mean, and you're actually a better football team, but you sleptwalked through 3 and 3/4 of the football game and got lucky to tie it and then go into OT, win it. Like I said, I'm mad at you. But you got a chance for redemption. So moving on, number 8, Cincinnati. Now, this might be a little low for Cincinnati, I'll be honest. But again, I just talked about how I don't think Kansas is that good. They can be good, but they haven't shown it. So I can't move you up that far yet. But that was impressive. Now, don't get me wrong. Your defense, you got to have some defense too. Because again, that game, in case anybody doesn't know, Kansas and Cincinnati, they combined for 1,200 yards, total yards, which is sickening. So let's not kid ourselves. Cincinnati, you need to shore up that end of the bargain as well. But you went on the road. You beat a team, what I think can be a good team. They're not as of yet, but they can be. That was an impressive win. I'll give you credit for that. So for now, you're 8. And again, don't forget this, Bearcat fans. I'm still mad at you too. You lost that game to Nebraska. I'm mad. I'm mad at you because you had it and you gave it away. I'm mad at you.
That's tough love right there, Bearcats. That's tough love. This was a sign of progress for Cincinnati. Absolutely. Not just that they won, but how they won. They had to score. They had to have the definitive drive. Man, that builds some confidence to do that on the road. And congratulations. Have they turned a corner? Maybe, but I don't know where that corner leads. We're going to find out.
Iowa State this weekend at home. We'll find out. We will find out. It's going to be tough. So if you're that team, here's your opportunity. That's the thing about this conference, Fitz, is that if you have questions, just go to the next week. You go to the next week, and usually you can get your questions answered one way or another.
Every week is self-contained. We don't know the totality of anyone, even in the 12th game of the season.
No.
You can reinvent yourself, particularly in this conference when there's not much separation, particularly from about 11, 10, 12 up. And, anyone's capable of getting it done.
Right. At number 7, I have Baylor. Now, I debated on Cincinnati and Baylor, and maybe I did it because I'm still mad at Cincinnati. Maybe that's the reason. But I think Baylor's still a really good football team, so I got Baylor at 7. That game at Oklahoma State, again, that was much, much closer than what it should have been. Because Baylor is a lot better than Oklahoma State. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're not, Fitz. Maybe that defense is not better than what we think it is. But we'll see. I've seen them play better competition and play better. So I do know that. So maybe they just kind of sleptwalk through this one, thought they'd show up and win. They kind of did. They kind of did just show up and win because I didn't see a whole lot out of them. And again, Oklahoma State's not good. But right now you're at 7, Baylor. I expect better. And we'll see what happens this weekend.
I'll give Baylor credit. They can score. They can score faster than Travis Kelce at a Taylor Swift concert. They put up a lot of points, but they also give up points. It's a wild ride this season for Baylor fans.
It is.
I mean, it's every game's got to be stressful and just kind of fun and maybe too much fun, just too much going on. But it'll be an interesting game this week. They get to go home and take on Kansas State.
Absolutely. At number 6, I got TCU. TCU got out fast. I thought they were going to blow Arizona State out. They got up 17-0 at the blink of an eye. Yeah. And Arizona State, at that point in time, had shown no resistance in being able to even slow TCU down. But then, not only did they slow TCU down, they basically brought them to a halt.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do anything the rest of the game until they got one drive. And I'm like, wow. I mean, they completely shut TCU off. And look, I was praising TCU because of their physicality of what they had shown so far this season. Well, they played a team that likes to get physical, and they were shown what real physicality was. I mean, in the game. Now, granted, you got to add back in the rushing yards. They had 12 rushing yards, or the sack yardage. They had 12 rushing yards, But even if you add that back in, it was only 50. Yeah, they couldn't move the football, couldn't stop Arizona State from running it. Maybe it was just a blip. And again, they didn't get blown out. They showed toughness, and they did get out to the fast start. You can't discount that. They got out super quick, but they weren't able to sustain it. And I always say this, physicality usually rules the day. It did in this game. So I got TCU at 6.
Quarterback play, too, was a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Lovett made plays, man. That guy's just a warrior. I just love quarterbacks like that. Not always pretty, but boy, he gets it done. And on the other side, we saw Hoover throwing some picks, throwing into triple coverage. Look, I appreciate the confidence, but you need to apply some logic here.
Yeah.
The guys on the other side of the ball can make plays too, and you gave them too many opportunities to do that. So I think TCU is a really good team. I think they're part of the upper crust of this conference, but so is Arizona State.
Absolutely. I say this on my Steelers Almighty channel all the time, Fitz, that the other team gets paid too. They pay those guys millions of dollars too, and it isn't because they all stink. Same goes in college. Those guys get scholarships that you're playing against.
They get paid.
You can't just make every throw that you want to. It doesn't work that way. So, and Hoover, look, I was singing his praises, and I still think he's really good. One bad game's not going to change my mind, but he got rattled. Let's just call it what it is. He got rattled, and because his offensive line let him down. His offensive line just couldn't block anybody. Arizona State really took the fight to him. At number 5, I got Utah. Look, I challenged Utah, and I said, prove to me that you're on your way back, because I'm not going to say you're back yet because the season's not even halfway over. No. But prove to me you're on your way back, that number 1, Tech is good, and they took it to you the last 8 minutes. It is what it is. And that you aren't going to let that loss beat you twice. Go out and pummel this team that you're much better than. Well, they did that, Fitz. They beat the Braves. I mean, this game was over after the first 10 minutes. It was over. Now, a weird stat, they gave up 261 rushing yards, Fitz. Now, I said this yesterday, if you looked at me before the game and we were talking and we said West Virginia had 261 rushing yards and averaged over 5 yards a carry, you'd say that game was pretty damn close. It was a blowout. It was an absolute blowout. So sometimes, and I say this all the time because people say stats don't lie, and I'm like, yeah, sometimes they do, people. Sometimes they do.
That is hard to do when you get beat that bad.
Yeah.
Why are you running the ball that often if you're that far behind? And that's probably why they had success, because Utah's like, you're not going to throw it. Oh, you want to run it for 5 yards a time? Great. You're not coming back doing that.
And then eventually we're going to stop you.
Yeah. What an odd stat.
Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. But either way, Utah showed their mettle. They showed how good they were against an inferior opponent, because West Virginia is not good. Utah is. There is the next 6. Arizona, Kansas, they had it flipped. Houston, Cincinnati, they have it flipped. Right on Baylor, right on TCU. And then BYU. Publishers have BYU at 5. I'm going to give BYU a little more credit than that, I'm afraid. So,
yeah, there's no way to hide the plot now.
No.
We're down to the top 4, and you haven't mentioned BYU yet. So, look, and just a reminder, these are Big B's rankings compared to the 24/7 Sports Publisher poll that we do every week. So it's one man against up to 16. Not all men, but 16 beings. And he holds his own. He does. He's Big B. That's why
I try.
Big B.
I try. I just try to be honest, and a lot of people get mad about it, but this is just how I see it.
Yep.
Compared to how teams are actually playing, and throw a little logic behind it as well. So don't take it personal, people, or take it personal. Either one, it's fine with me. Fine with me. Moving on. Number 4, BYU.
Shocker.
Imagine that. Look, I thought, BYU's schedule fits set up perfect. I mean, could you think of a better schedule when you're breaking in a freshman quarterback? Just you got 2 cupcakes that you play. Okay, fine. You win those games. You're starting to get his feet wet. Then you go on the road to a group of 5, which is not – they're probably better than the first 2 cupcakes that you played, but it's on the road, but it's still group of 5. You go there, you play well. Then they go on the road to a conference opponent, okay, but not one of the best conference opponents that you could face out there. I think it's set up perfect to get their freshman quarterback equated to college football. That defense is insane. Again, I don't know how good offenses they've played as of yet, but that doesn't matter. You can just use your eyes. Sometimes just use your eyes. You can see how good that defense is. It is. But I like BYU. I like them. I got them at 4.
Yep. Another one of the good teams in this conference. And I think 6 on up's pretty good football right now.
Yeah.
Did they do everything they needed to do in the non-con? No, particularly Arizona State, but still some pretty good football teams that are finding themselves as this season goes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. At number 3, I got Arizona State. I moved Arizona State a long way, but the reason I did is because Arizona State proved that, hey, number 1, we can be a really physical football team when we want to be. Not when we want to be. They've been that all year. Somebody got in the comments yesterday, and the narrative, some people have said, well, I knew Arizona State wasn't going to be the same running team without Scatterboo. And my comment was, have you been paying attention? They run for more yards than what they did last year when they had Cam Scatterboo. So you haven't been paying attention. That's just the internet narrative. They have been a physical football team all year long. Even the game they lost, they ran for over 200 yards. So it's not that they're not a physical football team. Now they needed their quarterback to just perform Superman hero tactics against TCU, and he did it. He did it. Look, Sam Levitt is that guy. Again, I talked to our man Chris Cartman Fitz before the game last week, and we both agreed it's not that he's necessarily played bad. Outside of Mississippi State game, he played bad. They just haven't really asked him to do a whole lot. Well, they asked him to do a lot in this game, and he did it. He's that good.
Yep, that's what you want from a quarterback. We need more from you. You got it.
Yes.
You got it. He puts his body out there. He puts his heart into it. It's hard to be a really elite football team with an okay quarterback, at least in college football. And not just a skilled quarterback. You need a leader. You need a guy that's going to, jump into the fire with you. And he is that. He is the fire, actually.
He is. He's that good. Played a great game. I mean, look, they are in the middle of a tough stretch of football games. But I don't know that I'd want anybody else to be my quarterback to face that. So
I agree.
And number 2, maybe this quarterback, Iowa State. Look, they took it to Arizona. And again, it's one of those games where the stats weren't just crazy lopsided fits. And it's not like Arizona didn't have like 100 turnovers or anything like that. And I said this yesterday. I thought it was funny. A friend of mine is an Arizona fan. And he texted me in the game and he's like, oh, come on, Brien. He's like, the game is much closer than what it seems. At the time, the score was 36-7. And I'm like, well, hold on a second. But what game are you watching? Well, look at the stats. I go, I don't care what the stats say. There's one stat that matters: 36-7. It was just a bloodshed. It was a bludgeoning. And and again, I give credit to Arizona because they're not the same team as last year, but they're not on Iowa State's level. They're just not at that level. And again, this is a game where Arizona took away the run game from Iowa State. Turns out Iowa State's got a hell of a quarterback. He said, no problem. You guys want me to throw to win the game? That's what I'll do. He did. Iowa State's at 2.
Fellas, football is a little bit like Saturday night at the bar. You can gain a lot of yardage, but it's all about the scoring. You got to finish with some scoring. So all that yardage doesn't matter if you're not putting it into the end zone. Enough said.
I like that. I like that analogy. And it is true. It couldn't be. That is exactly the truth. It just, again, you just watch the game sometimes, and I get it. You can move the football, but if you don't score, okay, it doesn't really matter. And that's kind of what it was. But Iowa State's really good. They're a really good football team. And at 1 Tech, look, until proven otherwise, we saw what we saw Tech do to Utah. And until proven otherwise, they're going to be my number one team. I mean, they're going to have to play. Somebody's going to have to play out of their mind to get Tech out of here. Now, again, that can happen, and Tech can play bad.
Right.
So I'm not saying that this will never change, but from what I saw against a really good football team, they may be here for a while. But we'll see. This conference is chaotic. It is chaotic. So we don't know. I could say that, and next week I might have to drop Tech to 5 based on what happens on Saturday. So who the hell knows? And to be quite honest with you, Fitz, I kind of hope that I do. Because you know me, I love chaos. I love chaos.
I'm afraid you're not going to get chaos. I'm afraid for you that this is a wire-to-wire winner in the conference. I might be overreacting from what they did at Utah in terms of what Utah did at another Big 12 school, in this case, West Virginia, that they went in there and did that to Utah, a team that could do that on the road to someone else. I think as of right now, I might argue that Tech is one of the better Big 12 teams in a long time. Going back to Texas and OU, going back to, some of those really good OU teams and the few Texas teams that were good.
Right.
But
go ahead.
It's early.
Yes,
it's early.
It is early.
And college football, and let alone the Big 12, is really volatile.
Correct. I think, they still have a lot to prove.
Right.
But I just don't think that you can – what they were able to – because I said it all off season, and I say it now. I think Utah's really, really good. I just do. I'm not going to back off of that until Utah proves to me that they're not a really good team. I think they are. And I saw Tech dismantle them. I saw them stop everything they wanted to do on offense, and I saw them out-physical what I believe to be the best offensive line in the country with 2 first-round draft picks. I saw that happen with my own eye. We all saw it. Yep. We can't take that away. So good for them. But it's any given Saturday. Anything can happen, especially in the Big 12. So there is the final breakdown. Just one differentiation. We were pretty close this week, Fitz, all around. Or I was pretty close this week, all the way around. So I think we're starting to see, like you mentioned, some separation. I think it's the bottom of the conference. We kind of know who those are. The top of the conference, we kind of know who those are, even though they can move around. But the middle, I think we kind of know where teams are as of now because we're pretty in tune with each other. It's just exactly what order. I think the middle of the conference is going to end up being a mess.
No, I agree.
To be honest with you, I think the middle of this conference is going to be an absolute mess as the season wears on.
And is UCF going to join that middle? Or they're going to be down there in a bottom 4. I suspect they might join that middle.
Yep.
You look at those from 13 up to 7. Hell if I know who's going to win those games. That is, I wouldn't be betting on any of that. But I think TCU there's a break there. I think TCU is pretty darn good. And in all honesty, Big B, the best thing to happen for this conference, as much as you and most of us enjoy the chaos of this conference, the conference really does need Tech and someone else to separate.
It does.
And go play that Big 12 title game and sneak that second team in. And right now, I would think Tech is going to get a bye because they're going to start rattling off wins. And we need someone to advance. We need 2 teams to win. And if that's Tech, that means they're advancing out of the round of 8 into the semifinals. I'm all in. This conference needs that, particularly after that non-conference ho-hum performance by this league. And it will steal some of the fun if it becomes obvious these 2 teams are the ones that are going to play. Because I know the Big 12 loves to sort out things with tiebreakers. They do such a good job with that. But it really, as much as you may not like Tech or how they went about it, the conference kind of needs them to roll through the league schedule and roll into the playoffs and do some damage.
Yeah, people got to get over how Tech did their business. Everybody's doing it that way.
It's fine.
SEC teams did it for years. It was just illegal. And now other teams have caught up. Good for them. Good for Tech. You need to get over that. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. If you don't have the ability or capability, that is not Texas Tech's fault. They just don't blame them.
Nope.
They're just playing by the rules. So, well, appreciate everybody, man. Thank you again, as always, for being in here. We're going to have something a little different tomorrow, so make sure you guys tune in. I think I'm going to do a live tomorrow about what happened at Colorado this past weekend between Colorado and BYU. So if you guys are available, I will be going live at 11 o'clock Wednesday morning Central Time.
Central.
You guys may want to tune into that because I've got some thoughts. I mentioned some stuff last year when Arizona played against BYU at Arizona, and I've got even some stronger words for the Colorado fans. So make sure you guys are there. Tune in. I appreciate everything. Thank you guys for all the support, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.